Hey friends, it's Christy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to bring you my second ever art journaling video. I had so much fun with my January spread and I couldn't wait to do it again. So I'm going to dive in. Once again, I've pulled together a few supplies just to make it a little less intimidating for myself. So I can choose these things. If I want to add something to it, I can. But it kind of just gives me, a little bit of a direction to work in here without feeling too overwhelmed with possibilities. So I have pulled together some washi tape, a few more of my Stabilo Woodies. I've got some stamps that came on some Happy Mail from friends that I thought might be fun to use. I also have some vintage paper that looks like a letter and a little sticker postage stamp with a squirrel on it. I've got my small talk stickers from Tim Holtz for my title. And then I've also got some pattern papers from the Ciao Bella Snowy Day, or Memories of a Snowy Day 6x6 pad, which I showed in a recent haul. So if you want to flip through of that, you can check that out. And then of course my art journal and some washi tape. So I'm going to lay down a mat on my surface just to protect it, and then we'll get started. Okay, so before we get to today's spread, I actually wanted to give you a quick little update on last month's spread. It was this one here. As I said in my previous video, this was my very first time art journaling, so I'm still learning. I'm going to make mistakes, and that's how I'm going to learn and grow, and that is totally fine. One thing that happened during this video that I didn't realize was I had laid down some movie tickets to Spider-Man No Way Home that my son and I had gone to see, and I had wanted to leave them in there, but somehow in the middle of the creation they disappeared, and I didn't realize it at the time. I was just so into the project, and I was really stressed out about the video being too long, and so I was just trying to get through, and I didn't realize what had happened until I watched the video back and realized, and then I could see that they had disappeared, but I didn't know why they had disappeared. They had just vanished, even though I had left them there. I'd covered up a little bit with gesso because I wanted to incorporate it into the page, but they were completely gone. And then I was watching a video from Vicky P from Greece, and she was talking about using, if you use like thermal label tape, then you have to be super careful not to heat set it, because the heat will make the thermal tape, like the wording on it, disappear. And I was like, oh my gosh, that must be what happened, because the receipts that I had, it was that thermal paper, that super thin receipt paper, and I did clear gesso over it and then heat set it, and so that must have made the ink disappear. So what I did was I still wanted to have those in there, and thankfully I had saved a half of one. It was the larger half. I'd used a whole one, and then I had torn off a strip from the second one and just used part of it. So I was able to take that second one and tear that up and glue that in. So we have a little bit right here, and a little bit right here, and a little bit right here. And that was enough for me. I just wanted little touches of it here and there to just kind of incorporate things from my life, like I said. So I just went ahead and glued that in. I added a little bit of gesso and a little bit of my Woody pencil crayons around the edge to make it just, seem more seamless on the page. And then I just did not clear gesso over that. So they do feel slightly different than the rest of the page, but only if you rub your finger over it, and it's such a small difference. So as long as I don't spill anything on them, they should be fine, but I don't plan to do that. And yeah, so that's how I did that little fix. So if you're using those thermal receipt papers, just be careful that you don't want to heat set them, over top. So Anyway, today we're going to be working on our second spread. I'm so excited, guys. I have been dying to get to this, but I just didn't have time to get to it before now. But today I am super ready to go. So give me a second. I'm going to grab a little clip to hold that down in place. I'm just going to take a bulldog clip like this just to hold it down a little bit better. And this side I'm not going to worry about too much because it's pretty heavy. So the first thing I'm going to do is take some washi tape and just use that to protect the spine of my book. If any wetness gets down in there, it can weaken the spine of your book and leak onto your other pages. Some people don't mind that if it leaks a little bit, but I want to preserve this book as much as possible, so I really don't want my pages to start to fall apart, especially since I'm working in a book with perforated pages already. They're already, you know, weakened by that a bit, so this extra little bit of strength is going to really help with that. And then I've got this one here that I thought would be kind of fun. It's got like little newspaper print and stuff like that, so I thought I would just try to use some of that just to kind of give me a little bit more of a background here. This may get covered up completely in the end. I really don't know. I don't really have a plan for this one yet, so the only thing I know is that I want kind of like a happy mail theme, you know, since I'm also a card maker. And I know that my focal image is going to go down here. I may actually even have two focal images. I'm not sure yet. But I'm just gonna start putting stuff down because, you know, breaking the blank page, as it's called, when you start putting stuff down so that the blank page isn't so intimidating, that's a super important part of just getting started, because it can be so intimidating to just look at that blank page and kind of not know where to start. So I just want to start putting stuff down. And honestly, I'm so happy with the way that the first page went that I'm really nervous again about this one, because I'm like, oh, will it be as good? You know, will it live up to people's expectations and all that stuff? So rather than like getting in my head and worrying too much about it, I'm just going to start putting stuff down on this page, and you know, I'll figure it out as I go along. That's part of it, you know. It is absolutely okay to change direction and, you know, cover things up as the page starts to develop, because you don't know where it's going to go when you first start. And, you know, that's totally fine. So I'm just sticking some of this on here until I see what I want to do. Put some there. Okay, so I know that I want to add some of these stamps because like I said, this is kind of like a happy mail theme. Hold on one second. This here is going to be my focal image. Red squirrels are one of my absolute favorite animals, probably my most favorite animal, and I'm a card maker, so I just think that this image is perfect because it looks like it's full of like card style envelopes. And so that is going to go down in this corner, and that's like as far as I know. But you can see on this pattern paper there's some different stamps and things, and I thought that using some actual stamps from letters that friends have sent me would be perfect, because like I said in the last video, I just want to incorporate things from my actual life as well. I think that's just a really fun touch to make it even more personal. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those down with a glue stick. I'm using the Elmer's Craft Bond Extra Strength, and I used that on my first page and it worked really well. I was really surprised with how excellent the hold was. Like, I hardly ever had to lift something back up in the corners and kind of press it back down. So maybe we'll stick this up here and just kind of add that. And then I've got this one. And let's see, we'll kind of balance it out, put it a little bit lower down on this page. Okay. All right, so what do I want to do from there? Oh, looks like I didn't get, see, that's what I mean. A lot of times I see in videos like people with their glue sticks, they have to like reinforce the edges because they just don't glue down really well. And that really didn't happen too much on the first page. So I think this one is doing pretty good. So, all right, what's next? Let's see. Oh yeah, I've got a little bit of this letter, and I also have this postage stamp here. So maybe we'll stick this one. If I can get it peeled apart. I always have such a hard time with this. I have terrible nails. They're so just thin. They break all the time. I think probably right up here looks fun. So let's stick that one, because now like everything is a little bit staggered. It's not like right in a row. And then we've got this really thin paper that has like letter script on it. So let's put some of that down as well. So how are you guys doing? Have any of you guys tried art journaling since watching my video? I know a lot of you guys said that I had inspired you to start. It was something that you'd been wanting to do for a while too. And yeah, you guys said like you were gonna start, so have you done it? I'd love to know. Please leave me a comment down below and let me know how it went, if you did. And if you ended up not doing it, why? I'd love to hear, like, you know, did things just get busy, or did you feel too much pressure? I would really love to know. I want like different sizes, so let's just tear that down a bit. And this looks like a good spot in that empty spot there. Oh, and by the way, this paper is from this pack here, which I also showed in my recent haul video, and the postage stamp was from this pack. These both came with like multiple packs of these things in one little kit for one low price. So if you're interested in anything like that, you can check out that haul video, and everything is linked under that video, and I will link what I use in this video as well down below in the description bar. So if you're interested in anything like that, please do check it out. And if you want to use the links that I provide, that would be amazing, because they are affiliate links, so I would earn just a very small commission at no cost to you on those purchases. So let's see where else. Like one more little bit of it. So last time I got lucky. I was using an 8x8 pad, and oops, sorry. I was using an 8x8 pad, and so I ended up only using one sheet of pattern paper because that was all I needed. Everything I needed was in that one sheet. This time I'm using 6x6 paper, and I don't want everything that's in it, like this. I don't think I want this building in the background here. I want to go with more of the nature theme. So I might use part of it, but I don't know if I'll use all of it. And then I have a few other pages here that I don't know what I'm going to use yet. I haven't really decided. I just pulled out a few that might work. And I do really love this image as well, so I may put this one on this side, but I'm not sure about the scale and if I really even want two focal images. I do love these swans, but I don't think it fits the theme, so I don't know. And these are all double-sided, so I have options from the back of these as well. I definitely want to use these little footprints. So you know what, maybe I will go ahead and start with what I know I'm going to use. In my last one I cut it out fussy cut, but I don't know, this time I might just tear it because it would be very hard to fussy cut around the fluffy tail and stuff. So maybe I'll just tear it. And by the way that you tear your paper makes a difference in how the edge is going to look. So if you tear your paper and you pull up this side, you'll have more of a, not a clean edge, but it will just be the torn paper. Whereas if you tear this direction, you're going to get a white little edge there. So depending on what look you're going for, that's how you want to do that. So, okay, so I'm thinking this down here. Obviously, I'm going to put some white gesso on stuff because this background is going to be too much as it is. So I am going to mute it down in a little bit here. I just want to kind of get rid of some of these straight edges to make it look a little bit more organic. So that's going down here. I do like these trees. So those could go somewhere. And see, if I put that there, it will cover up some of what I put down, but that is fine. Because it's part of the process. It's kind of like discovering, you know, how your page is going to come together, and you don't know it until you start to do it. So, but you can like tear away a little bit more to make it cover less if that's what you want. See, because I would like to have those butterflies showing, or at least one of them. So maybe that will go there. Just, you know, kind of getting ideas right now. I do like kind of this grungy stuff down at the bottom with the stamps on it. So that could maybe go down at this bottom edge. But I don't know for sure. I'm just kind of laying things out and seeing how I like it. Kind of almost like that right there. So maybe I'll try not to overthink it, you know. If you sit there and overthink it and try to find like the best place for everything, you're just going to get paralyzed and not end up putting stuff down, you know. And so it's going to be what it's going to be. And as long as I'm happy with, you know, the main things like the focal image and the title, it'll be fine, you know. So I do kind of like some of this stuff here. So that could be good. I actually found a new YouTuber to watch. The channel is called Danny Connor Wild, and she is a wildlife photographer. She travels all over the world, but she also spends a lot of time in Sweden. And so she goes to this place called the Squirrel Forest, and it has a lot of red squirrels there. And she ended up even like rescuing 4 baby squirrels. The video, oh my gosh, you guys, it was so adorable, those little squirrels. She didn't take them home or anything. She left them in the forest, but she came to check on them all the time and stuff and videotaped it. And oh my gosh, those squirrels were just the cutest. Oh my gosh, it was so cute. So I will link her channel down below in case you're interested in checking it out. I'll link directly to that baby squirrel video. But yeah, it was just like so much fun to watch because they were just so darling. Maybe down here. Do I want Maybe I want the red at the bottom for the, to have like a little bit of a border down here. Yeah, maybe. So yeah, it's really cool. I love finding new stuff like that to watch because I love animals so much, and yeah, just seeing all those animals in their natural habitat and everything, it's just such a joy. Okay, so I think I'm happy with this being up there. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that down as well. And I really don't like those straight edges. I think it just doesn't look, I don't know, but I don't want to lose too much of the tree, so just take a tiny bit of it off. And of course now it's super sticky. That's okay. I'll just have to go wash my hands if I need to. Alright, so that's good there. And I think I'm going to go ahead and glue this down as well, because I know that's where I want it to go. As soon as I saw this pattern paper pad, I just fell so in love because I just adore those red squirrels so much. And you know, my favorite part about card making is sending those cards out and making people happy. So that whole mailbox with the letters, I think that's perfect. I think I want to use these little adorable footprints. So I'm going to tear some of those out. But instead of having them go this way like they were on that pattern paper, I'm going to put them kind of leading up to the mailbox on the ground. So something like that. I'm going to have to lose that one and make it a little bit skinnier. Okay. So I'm so pleased that you guys enjoyed that first video, and I basically stressed over the length of it for nothing because you guys, I don't want to cover up the bottom of his tail, so I think I'm going to shift it a little bit this way. You guys were just so reassuring about the length of the video and everything and all of that. You know, I literally stressed for days and thought, nobody is going to watch this video. It's way too long. They're not used to this on my channel. You know, I was like, I was talking to my husband and was like, oh my gosh, like what if 5 people watch it and no one likes it or something? But you guys were amazing. I was blown away by the support and the kind words, and yeah, it was just incredible. You guys are the best, honestly. I have the best viewers. I don't know how I lucked out so much, but I definitely did. Let's see. Do I want some of this in there? I feel like that might be nice with the little pops of red. So maybe just like, let's take a strip of it off here, and we'll just find some places for a little bit of it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for all the views and all the comments, all that interaction with the video. It just makes a huge difference in like YouTube sharing it and you know, showing it to more people, and you know, the more people that see it, the more that find my channel. So yeah, it was just amazing. I was blown away by you guys. I really can't say thank you enough because it was just wonderful. So let's put this one down here. Just trying to fill in like the little spots that seem like something's missing. This one is turning out so different from the first one, but I think that's really cool. You know, every page should be unique. Leave that straight edge on there. It'll be okay. I want something to balance out this dark color there, so I thought having it up at the top here would be good too. And maybe another little bit of it here, or even like this one that's the back of the berries. That might be fun with all the numbers and stuff on it. I do like that too. Kind of just, you know, having that dark around the edges, it almost like creates a little border. So that'll be nice. And then it's all like kind of balanced because you have the red here as well, so it's, yeah, just pleasing to my eye. All right, I think I want a little bit more of this. I really liked the kind of calendar looking bits that I added there, so I might take a little bit more of that. And again, that's the back of that berry paper. And just tear that down a bit. And maybe have something in here. So yeah, like I said, things are going to get covered up, definitely. And I'm going to knock back a lot of this with some gesso, so, you know, it'll get covered up there as well, some of it. And that's okay. You don't want to be too precious about your layers, because then you're just going to be intimidated to put things down on the page. And that's what you want to avoid, you know. You want to just kind of dive in, which is totally against my nature. I am a planner all the way. Like, I get stressed out if I don't have a plan for everything. But, you know, there's also kind of a freedom in not having everything planned out and just going with the flow and seeing where things take you. And, you know, keep the things that you really, really want to keep, of course, but don't be afraid to cover stuff up. You know, if that's the way the page evolves, that's fine. Somebody mentioned, you know, that I had wanted to save. I had a washi tape with a boat that was right here, and I had wanted to save it, but it ended up being behind my polar bear's head. And, you know, I would rather have the polar bear than that boat, you know. So, you know, things are going to get covered up. It'll be okay. Just go with the flow. Don't try to be too precious about it, unless it's like the one thing you wanted to keep, like your focal image or something like that. Of course, then in that case, you know, you can do what you want. It's your page, but just from all the videos I've watched, you don't want to let yourself get so intimidated with worry about the things that you are afraid to cover up, that you don't even do it at all, or you get stuck, or you give up halfway through. I mean, don't do it, because, you know, like I said in the last video, this is something I've been wanting to do for so many years, and I was so intimidated by it. And once I did it, I just felt instantly in love and was like, why? Why did I waste so many years worrying, you know, that it wouldn't turn out, or that people wouldn't like it, or people wouldn't watch it, or people would unsubscribe to my channel because it's not what they want to see. You know, I get in my head a lot. It's just my personality. But it was just so freeing to do. It was liberating to just kind of go with it and see what happens. And nothing bad happened. It actually turned out wonderful. At least to me. It was totally my personality. It turned out better than I could have envisioned. And my only regret is that I didn't do it sooner. So if you are, you know, feeling like you're afraid to get started because you're intimidated, or you just won't know what to do, or you look at this and think, oh, it just looks like a mess right now because it's not finished yet. You know, just go with the process. Try it. In the end, it's just paper in a book. It's not that big of a deal. If it doesn't turn out great, you can cover it up, or you can turn the page and try again the next time. It's okay, you know. It's art. There's no right or wrong. You can do whatever feels good to you, and you can keep changing it and altering it until you're happy with it. Like I went back and added that ticket in, you know, because I wanted them to be there, and you know, I made a mistake that I wasn't aware of, and then yeah, so I just went back and did it. This kind of feels like it needs something here. I wonder if maybe a little bit more of this letter would be good there. I might put that, just a little bit of it. Yeah, I think so. Okay. All right, so I think I'm almost done here with the papers. So I'm about ready to move on to the next step. Let's see, something here maybe. Is there anything else from one of the other? Maybe this tree. Just a little bit of that. So I do hope sincerely that some of you in this meantime, because it's now been nearly a month, today is February 1st, and I did my last one on January 6th, so I hope that in this time that some of you guys did attempt this. I'm really excited to read the comments and see what happened in that meantime. So this line here also bothers me, so I'm going to cover that up. I want things to just be a little bit more organic looking with the torn edges and not so many straight lines, if that makes sense. So we'll add that. Alright, well I keep going back to this one, and I do think that the scale is off. I think this squirrel is too big to be that close to those squirrels that just... But I really like the bird, so this kind of seems sacrilegious, but I think I'm going to tear the bird out and use that. I think I'm going to. So let's go for it. Let's see. The good thing about this Ciao Bella paper pad is that there were 2 of every print in the pad, so at least I still have, I don't know if I'm going to use the tree or not, so let's just tear it. At least I still have like another sheet of this, so I can still use that squirrel for something else. So let's see. I don't want to cover up all of this stuff, so I think I'm going to make this part a little bit thinner. How's that? I'm going to tear off the tree because I already have the trees up there, so I'm not sure if I need the extra trees. This feels a little bit high. So maybe that. I do like that. Okay. So yeah, that's what I mean about not being too precious about it. I know, you know, it has that beautiful red squirrel, which I love so much, but if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and I'm not gonna just slap it down because I like the image. You know, I want there to be like a mood, you know, I want things to have like a vibe to it that suits my what I'm going for, my feelings, you know, for this particular page. I like that. I think that is nice, and it kind of balances them out a bit since they are a smaller focal image. Yeah, I think I like that. Now what about these trees? I do like them, but I don't know if they're gonna work anywhere. They would cover up too much stuff. Maybe a little bit up there. In the end, it's just scrap anyway, so I might as well tear it and test it, and if I don't like it, I don't have to use it. Yes, no, maybe. Let's go for it. Why not? More layers. All right, so put that up there. And then maybe there. Why not? This was kind of bothering me anyway because there was like a straight line there, so this is going to break that up a bit. All right, so I think this is it for the paper. So I'm going to go ahead and add some gesso. I'm going to clean off this work surface first and wash my hands because this is sticky and I'm sticky, and then I'll be back to start with the gesso. Alright, so I've got my white gesso. Mine is from Pro Art. I will make sure to link one down below for you guys. If I can find, you know, a smaller one with a better price, that's what I'll do, just so if you're interested in getting one, you can, you know, just start with something small and inexpensive. So I'm just going to use what's in the lid here and kind of mute down some of the little places where things meet up and knock some of this stuff back, because right now there's a lot going on and I want it to just be a bit more cohesive and, you know, look like it belongs together. So I'm just gonna work my way around, kind of pouncing with my finger in all of these little seams and just kind of softening things up. Now, if you don't like using your finger, you could use a brush, but I feel like I have more control with my fingers, so that's what I'm doing. But you do you, whatever is most comfortable. So, oop, it's a little scrap there. So I haven't decided yet if this is going to be like an entire animal themed book. I don't know. Like, I am a huge animal lover, so it makes sense that I'm incorporating animals into a lot of my spreads. I mean, so far it's just two, but it's both of the ones I've done so far. I don't know. I don't know that this will all be just animals, but maybe it will. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I don't really have too much of a plan, other than that I hope to do at least one spread per month, a spread being a 2-page layout. You can absolutely just work on one page at a time if that's what you want to do. But since I'm working in a smaller art journal, and I will have this one linked down below too in case anybody else is interested in this one. I do really like the size of it. But since I'm working in a smaller art journal, I thought it would be good to do the 2-page spread because it just gives me a little bit more space to work with. And also I'm totally into like matchy things. So I would have such a hard time doing this page and this page differently. Like, I would always feel like I needed this page to match, which would kind of, you know, stall me in the process, because it wouldn't just be like whatever I can come up with. It would have to be, you know, something that looked right with it. So for me, this just makes more sense. So just gonna keep working my way around and making sure everything is kind of looking like it belongs together, where the seams are just a little more blurred. Maybe mute out some of those people that were in the background of that pattern paper, because they don't really fit this theme, I guess, maybe. Maybe a little bit on these edges here. So how is your guys' year going so far? I can't believe we're finally in February now. January to me felt like it was 5 months long. It was so long. There was a lot of things that happened to the people I love, a few deaths in our family, in my extended family. It wasn't to me or anyone that, you know, it was my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law, poor thing, she lost her dad and her grandma in the space of 8 days, which was just unbelievably difficult. And yeah, there was a lot of other stuff going on with different people in my family as well. So January was kind of rough, not for me personally, but when you're somebody that just cares very deeply for the people in your life, you know, it makes it hard on you too. Not anything like what they're going through by any means, but you know, I worry about the people I love and their well-being and their mental health and all of that stuff, you know, and it's hard to see people suffering. It really is. So I hope that your January was much better, and thank goodness we are now in a new month, and hopefully things will improve. Okay, you know what? I think that's probably, well, maybe a little bit up here just to kind of make it look, you know, like cohesive with the rest of the page, and a little bit down here just to mute this bottom edge. And I think I'm good. Okay, I'm gonna dry this and then I'll be back. So I went to wash my hands, and in that time that it took, this is pretty much dry already. It dried super fast. So I think I'm going to go ahead and add a layer of clear gesso next, just to kind of prep all of the surface and get it ready for my Stabilo Woodies and anything else I might like to use. I'm using the Dina Wakley Media Clear Gesso. So if you don't have clear gesso, you could use matte medium, although it is a different product. The clear gesso is a primer and the matte medium is a sealer. So it may, your mediums that you put over top may react a little bit differently depending on which one you use. So I'm just going to coat everything in a nice medium thin layer here. And we'll see if I'm going to heat set that or if it will also dry quickly. Probably I'll just do a quick heat set because I want to move on. We're actually leaving on vacation tomorrow. My family, we've rented a house down in Florida and we're driving down from Pennsylvania, so it's quite a long drive, but it seems like the safest option right now, you know, with everything going on. So that's what we decided to do. And then we'll rent a house and hang out together, and we have a has like a little private beach access at this house, and we're bringing board games and cards and stuff like that. So we'll just have fun hanging out together as a family. So I'm super, super excited about it. I've been working so hard to be able to take the days off to be able to go. So I can't wait. It's so snowy here, and we're expecting a really bad storm coming in the day we're leaving. Hopefully we'll get out ahead of it. We actually changed our leaving time, and we're leaving a little bit early so that we can try to get ahead of this storm and get out of it before it gets too bad. So I'm going to dry this and I'll be right back. Alright, so that is mostly dry now. So I think I'm going to come in with some of my Stabilo Woody 3-in-1 pencil crayons and add some color to that. So I am going to sit down now for this. And we'll just kind of like add a little bit more of the color scheme here. I pulled out the red, the black, and the gold because I felt like that went best with the squirrel images there and the pattern paper that I used. It's a little bit, that gesso is still a little bit damp there, so it's a little bit harder to blend. I guess I missed a spot. So that's okay. We'll move on. We can always come back to that one. Just add a little bit of color. But yeah, I'm really excited to get to some warmer weather and get out of this snow. I'm not a lover of snow by any means at all. I can't stand it. And I live in one of the snowiest cities in America. Yeah, it's kind of funny how that happened, but yeah, it's always nice to get out and get a break from it for a little bit. So that'll be nice. And just to spend time with family, you know. That's always something that makes me happy. So let's see, maybe some of that red up here. Kind of going into the black. I kind of like what it does when it kind of meets up with the black a little bit. Just gives it that kind of grungy look. You can see how that's just kind of creating like a little bit of a border now. And I really like that. I do really like how these woodies are working. They're really easy to blend out with your finger, as you can see, and they also worked really well with water as I used them last time. So how about some of this gold? Let's try that and see what it does. It's kind of interesting. Ties in with the squirrels there, with their fur color. Okay, I don't love what it does with the black, so let's move over here a little bit. And if you end up with something you really don't like, I mean, that's not a big deal to me though. I can go back with a little bit more black, or I could go back over it with some gesso and, you know, kind of erase a little bit or just knock it back, you know. So that's nice. Maybe a little bit more of the red. And here, I don't want it to get too dark and heavy down here since that's where the focal image is. I want your eye to be drawn here, not here. So I'm not using any of the black down here right now. Maybe some over here though. Just to kind of, since that pattern paper underneath it is super grungy already, I think it goes a little bit better there. And then maybe we'll add a little bit of the gold here. Try not to blend too much of it with the black. kind of put it here and there wherever looks like it could use a little pop of color. So I think I'm going to switch to this brown. I want to try to do a little bit of shading, but I'm afraid that the black is going to be too much. So I'm going to just dip my paintbrush into the water and pick a little bit up and see how that goes. And if I don't like it, you know, I can always just cover over it with some black. So I just want to kind of create a little bit of shading back here. You know what, I don't think I do like it. So let's dab it off, at least some of it. And let's try the black. Why not? Just pick up a little bit so it doesn't get too strong. And then I'm just laying it down and blending it out like right away so it doesn't get too dark of a color there. Okay. Just want to outline my squirrels a little bit more and help lift them off the page a little bit. Okay, so I don't mind some of that darkness being at the back because it does look like a shadowy area. I just don't really want it going too close to my squirrels, but maybe I'll just, is there enough on there to at least just kind of highlight over here a little bit. Just kind of knock that background back tiny bit. I don't even know if that's going to pick up much on camera, but it is adding just a very soft little haze there, and that is way too much, so I am going to pick up some of that, just blend it out a bit and then just pick it up. This is actually a baby wipe here that's been sitting out for a little bit, so it's damp but not dry. A dry one would also work. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to do there. Just kind of knock that, maybe just a touch in here, just to add a bit of shadowing. And then maybe I'll do a little bit over by the bird as well, by this tree stump. Just, you know, a little bit of a shadow there too. It just makes the image come forward a bit, you know, it makes it be a little bit more separated from the background that it's on. And then dabbing up most of it is just going to leave just the slightest little bit there. And that's all I really want. I don't want to make this, you know, super dark and moody. I don't mind a little bit because this is a dark time of the year, especially where I am. There's, you know, all the snow and, you know, the days are so short. It gets dark at like 4:30. So it's, you know, just a darker time of the year, so I don't mind some of that. I just don't want it to look like, you know, like the page is in mourning or something, you know what I mean? So I actually noticed that the head of my bird had gotten a little bit of gesso on it and made the bird's head fade. So I'm just painting a little bit of this black back in there to make it look a little bit more complete again. And then maybe I'll add a little bit of shading on back of him here, just to help lift him off that background, because he's very similar in color to the pattern paper that he's standing on, since it's a snowy scene. So just a touch there. I don't know where his tail is supposed to be. I don't really see it, but that's okay. All right. I think I will also add just a tiny bit of black back here, because now you've got it kind of framed in 3 corners, but not having it here I think looks unbalanced. So I'm going to add just a little bit, but I don't want to get too carried away. So it's still just back behind here where this mailbox might be casting a shadow. Just a little bit here. Okay. I'm going to go back to this gold one and add a bit more. Oop. Might want to clean my finger off in between since I was smudging black with it. That's okay. Maybe something in here. Okay. I almost feel like I want to go back in with a bit more gesso and just knock a few things back even further. I still feel like there's a lot of competition on this page for where your eye should go. So I think I'm going to do that. That's what I mean. It's all a process, you know. I wasn't sure when I used it the last time. Just making sure you guys can see. Wasn't sure, you know, how far I wanted things to be knocked back, but now that I'm seeing it again, I'm just realizing that, you know, the focal images aren't standing out as much as I would like, just because there's a lot of dark colors on there with those deep reds on the black, and even this like letter paper that is, you know, a darker brownish craft color. So let's see, not too much, but just a bit. Just kind of soften up even some of that yellow, since it's the only place that that yellow appears on the page. I don't want it to be too striking. And soften up the edge of that. I do like how this stamp ties in with everything else, which I figured it would, you know, since it had the reds on there and the whites. Maybe just a touch more up here. I think that's better. I do think that's quite a bit better. So I think I want to do some stenciling. I have this flourish stencil from Ciao Bella, which I also showed in my recent haul, and I think I'm going to use that. It's a little bit big, but I think I can make it work by just selectively using little parts of it. And then I have this gold stencil paste from Lawn Fawn that I thought would tie in nicely with the gold Stabilos. So I'm just gonna kind of like figure out where I want to add a little bit of it. Maybe right up at the top here. So I'm going to open that up. I've never used it before. And I'll take my spatula. Let's just take a little bit of this and see. You want to hold down that stencil pretty tight so that you can get the design that you're going for, and it doesn't go underneath, especially with one like delicate like this. So let's lift up and see how that's looking. Okay, interesting. Okay, I don't think I want a ton of it on there, but a little bit isn't bad. Let's pick a different part of the stencil. Maybe there. Maybe something right there. Okay. You know what? I'm not sure that I'm loving that. So let's grab a baby wipe and see if I can just soften some of it a little bit, like especially right here. I don't like that harsh line, and I don't know that I want it coming down here. So let's take off some of that. And then I don't really like how it, like, I didn't have my stencil lined up correctly, so I think I'm going to take just the tiniest bit and just add a little bit towards, you know, the bottom and the top to make it look like it belongs there and not like it just kind of happened somewhere in the middle of the page. Alright, I really don't think I like it, so I'm wondering how much of it is dried on there. It is a little bit dried, but I think I'm going to take off a lot of it because it just seems like it's too heavy for these small images. So, like I said, I'm learning. You know, this is only my second ever time doing this, and I'm gonna make mistakes, and that's okay. Hopefully you guys will learn from them, and maybe you won't make the same ones, but you'll probably make different ones along the way, and that's just part of learning, so it's not a big deal. And because I use the clear gesso over all of my images, I'm able to, you know, wipe this up without removing everything that's underneath it. So I think that's a little bit better. It's not quite so heavy and so distracting. Because once again, it was kind of taking away from the focal images. So I think this is better. I'm happier with that. And it's quite, parts of it are quite dry. So I can't remove all of it, unfortunately, or I probably would have, but that's okay. I think it's much better now. It's more of an accent than, you know, drawing your focus. So I think it's time for a title. So I think I actually want the black ones today. I think that would look really striking. So I'm gonna flip to the black ones and see which titles I might like to use today. Let's see. Life doesn't have to be perfect to be wonderful. Do your best. Never give up. Great things take time. Stay curious. That one could work with the squirrels. Creativity takes courage. I think that's going to be one of them. Sometimes you have to take chances. I think I want that. I might actually use 3 today. Stronger than yesterday, collect beautiful moments, choose to see the good. Happiness depends on ourselves. Maybe be brave with your life. Okay, maybe we'll start with creativity takes courage. That there. Sometimes you have to take the chance. Take chances. And then be brave with your life. I like that. Okay. So I'm just gonna make sure that that's on there securely, and then I'm gonna doodle around that a bit just to help it look like it's belonging there on the page. And this one as well. Okay, and then do I want to add a little bit of doodling in here, maybe? I don't know where his tail is, but kind of like just adding one in there since he seems to have lost his. I don't know, do I like that? I don't have to do it everywhere. I think I'm just adding a few little hints of it in here and there. It's just going to help it look a little bit more personalized, you know, like hand drawn, even though it's not. Just kind of, you know, helps draw your eye a little bit more to them too. It doesn't have to be perfect. How's that? Once again, it's trial and error, you know. I don't know what's going to work until I try it and see if I like it. So I'm going to remove some of that a little bit, or at least knock it back with some gesso. I don't mind like the other parts of it, but just around the beak it seemed a little bit odd to me. So how about that? And then where do I want to put the date? Maybe over here today. So let me grab my ink pad. And I know that like these sayings, like they don't necessarily, this is the ink I'm using here. It's acid-free, permanent, and waterproof Ranger archival ink. And I'm going to set this underneath there to help me get a good impression. I know that the titles don't necessarily go with the theme with the Happy Mail, but there wasn't really anything in those pads that did. And it still does go with how I'm feeling about art journaling. You know, I'm still struggling, you know, to live up to my expectations. So today is the 1st of February, so I'm going to ink that up. And hope I get it right this time, first time. Well, that's okay. I am going to take my black pen and just fix that because I don't want to re-stamp it. And I think that'll be fine. All right. So that is going to be it for this one. Really different from day one or month one. But yeah, I think it still turned out really cute. I love the red squirrels. Definitely a whole different color palette, but we're in a whole different month than the last one. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this one. If you enjoyed it and you want to see more, please let me know down in the comments below, because I still really want to keep doing them, but I want to make sure that you guys really want to keep seeing them. So again, thank you so much. I hope that you all have an absolutely amazing day. All of the products, as I said, will be linked in the description bar below, and I'll see you again soon. All right, bye-bye.